Hey everyone, welcome to Legal Shit. This is a live broadcast from West Palm Beach, Florida. I'm here with Teddy and Antoinette.
Hi, guys.
And I'm Tim Schulz, and we're here to talk about an interesting topic, recent arrest of a local resident here in West Palm Beach for electronic or posting threats against President Trump. The name of the defendant is Shannon Atkins. He was arrested, I believe, last week, and we're here to talk about that. Teddy, you want to introduce yourself quickly?
Yes, I'm a resident of West Palm Beach. I'm a very good friend of both of these fine people here. And I wanted to chime in today to discuss this particular topic because it's something that's very near and dear to this community. So, yeah, it's definitely something that I want to talk about.
Antoinette, say hi.
Hi, guys. Well, you know who I am. I'm Antoinette Wilkes, if you don't know. I'm local downtown West Palm Beach. Also, I make people over. Oh, do I need to talk into the mic?
Talking to the mic.
I make these men amazing. How about that?
I'm a local attorney here in West Palm Beach. I used to do criminal defense work. Now I pretty much specialize in business litigation, but I did some criminal defense work for about 7 years during law school and in 5 years in Miami. It was a lot of high-end stuff. But this is an interesting topic. It's because Shannon Atkins is a local resident here. It's been reported that he was arrested for violating a Florida statute, which prevents people or can be used to charge people with making threats against others online. And that's what Mr. Atkins is charged with doing, making threats against Donald Trump. And what we'll do is we'll talk about some of those threats. We have, I've obtained some papers from the court filings, and so it shows what the police are relying upon. We have copies of the actual posts that they're relying on in their affidavit to have Mr. Atkins arrested. So where do we start, folks? I guess one of the things we wanted to talk about is the fact that this statute prevents people from making threats, but it seems the threats in this case weren't directed specifically at President Trump. They're kind of more in the way of, I don't know what you say, offhanded threats, like hoping someone does something, but not I'm going to do something. So
yeah, definitely up for debate about whether these were directed threats or indirect, or whether it was encouragement of a threat. Definitely something that we can discuss because there might be a big gray area here.
Yeah.
And at the same time, once you put that in court and make a law on one person, now will everyone go to jail or lose their Facebook page or get in these big fines because they may have said something where at the same time, Shannon is also a comedian.
He is. He has, as it was reported in the papers and on the news recently, he was the owner and a local drag show that he used to put on downtown West Palm.
Bring that.
That's in the paper. It was just on like Channel 6 News or Channel 7, whatever newscast it is. And it's all over the news.
Right. So there is a community here. There's a drag show community here.
But he's a comedian, he's a baker, he's a friend, he's a family. I mean, he's everything to everyone. And he's been living here for a long time. He grew up here. He went to high school with a lot of us.
Did he? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So the community does know him. They respect him. And they know he's a comedic person. He'll talk to you and talk crap right to you in your face. But all you do is laugh. He says it right to your face too. So even if Mr. Trump was here, he wouldn't say that because that was, but he just talks crap. That's all he does.
Tell us a little bit about what happened this week. You went to the arraignment? You went to where he was charged?
Yeah, I walked in. I mean, he had a lot of lovely supporters. People came in from walks of life. His mom was there. His sisters were there. It was just nice to see that people came out to support him. And because at the same time, they all laughed at his page and they laugh when he's there. He's, and he's given back so much to the community. And it was nice to see that people did not just kick him to the curb when hard times came around.
Yeah, that's always important to have some community support, and a lot of people do support him. He I've met him a number of times. Antoinette's met him a number of times, and we've actually had a lot of interactions with him over the years. He's a pretty docile guy, and I always thought a funny guy. And Teddy, I think you can speak to, because I know you voiced some concern about society these days and what's been happening.
So I'm a part of a live stream. It's the Elisa Jordana show. And I've been fortunate enough to be a guest there several times and a contributor to the show. And we do go all over the community. There's no way that you would miss her. So I know that you've crossed paths with her.
Yeah.
Antoinette, you've crossed paths with her as well. So there's been a lot of divisiveness here in the country lately. There's been a lot of emotions resurfacing. People have been very vocal about their opinions. Recently, we have a new presidency once again, and there were people pardoned from that January 6th insurrection. So there's a lot of emotions that have resurfaced because of that.
Yeah, and that's what some of the people I think have been voicing lately in public and online here, at least in West Palm Beach, maybe elsewhere.
Yeah, everywhere, really. There
I
are
think if
people.
you go through that statute, you'll understand that how divided the country is, and that some people feel that they're entitled to say whatever they want.
Yeah. Well, one thing I do know as a lawyer is that not all speech is protected. We have free speech under the Constitution, but free speech doesn't mean threatening speech. And I guess the old famous saying is you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. You can't incite violence, although some people would say that a lot of what people are saying these days online incites violence by others. And so,
So it feels like everyone, I mean, if he gets that same ruling, everyone else should get the same ruling. There should not be any special,
well, that's one of the claims that a lot of people are making, is that this is a targeted prosecution. Actually, the whole case started because of a tip by someone who lives not in West Palm Beach, but I believe up in the Ocala area.
And I bet they're on his page, so obviously they're a fan. They're like, whether it's a fan that doesn't like you, but it's good or bad.
Yeah, they read it on Shannon's Facebook page and then reported it to the FBI. And then the FBI started an investigation. And of course, they went to Mr. Atkins' Facebook page and found a number of various posts that were now have formed the basis to have him arrested. Let me just tell you quickly what the statute, and I'm not going to read it verbatim, but what the statute basically says, it's unlawful for any person to send or post or transmit or to help someone do the same, a writing, including a record or other electronic record, in which it may be viewed by another person, that the person making the writing, the person actually drafting the email, is making a threat to kill or do bodily harm to another person or conduct a mass shooting or an act of terrorism. So Mr. Atkins was apparently arrested under subsection A of the statute there, that to kill or do bodily injury to another person, because certainly I've looked at the posts and there was no claim that he was trying to conduct a mass shooting or there was going to be an act of terrorism. But some of the posts do reference assassination and bullets and things of that nature. But
which is sad. That part was sad.
It is, and I think
it was hard. It was very hard.
Shannon right now totally regrets that.
Yeah.
I think he was truthful when he told the detectives, which is in the affidavit that was filed with the court, that he thought it was he was doing it as a joke. He didn't.
Because he does crude.
Very hard to prove a joke.
Yeah, he does crude joke all the time.
That's the problem.
I mean, you have to have people character witnesses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have to have people attest to your character and say, does this person always joke?
Yeah, which he does.
But this is serious business, right?
Especially in today's society, like you said, there's a lot of emotions are high.
People are scared.
People feel entitled.
They change
right now.
There's a lot of change.
Media.
Some places it's gotten to the point where you don't want to really talk about politics because it becomes such a divisive topic where people just have emotions, one side or the other. Not saying one side or the other is bad or good.
You're afraid to express your opinion,
or people are
you'll be trampled.
Yeah,
yeah.
Or afraid to wear the flag or whatever. What I'm thinking, this American flag is red, white, and blue. It's beautiful. Everyone should take part in wearing it. Doesn't matter. You shouldn't be afraid and think like, oh, if I wear the flag, someone's going to, think I'm this. No, the American flag should be equally shared along everyone.
Social issue. I mean, not so much political, because the presidency represents the strength, the sovereignty of America.
Yeah.
Right. So you're really threatening the presidency, not the particular person in office. Right now. So this isn't so political. This is more about, you can't ridicule or threaten the strength of America.
And so looking at the statute again, and I'm looking down reading it, so it's unlawful to make a threat, to transmit a threat, to kill or do bodily harm to another person. And when you look at the Facebook posts by Shannon, and I have them here, so I'll be able to read some of them in a little bit, they don't directly make any type of threat to do any type of harm to President Trump. It kind of says he wishes somebody may harm him.
Yeah.
And he hopes somebody may harm him. And boy, we haven't had an assassination in years. And there's a few references in an email, but I don't see any direct threat where he says, I am going to do harm to President Trump, or I'm going to do harm or kill or threaten to do something to him personally or to anyone else. And so that's, I think, going to be the question in this case is, did he directly threaten the president or anyone else? Or, was he simply venting out of frustration? And was it more along the lines of something that's kind of an offhanded comment where he didn't direct it at a particular person? And that's going to be the question going forward in the case is, did his comments
and the case is, his case is already done. It's a shut book right now, because other than if he goes back to trial and plea it, but with the financial status, he won't be able to do it because, he had a civil lawyer. He had a civil lawyer?
Well, I noticed in the court file, there was a lawyer that originally filed a notice of appearance. And then shortly thereafter, that attorney withdrew, and I don't know the reasons why, and it's not stated in the motion, which it never is. And then the public defender took over. So I believe
Public defender did.
Shannon is now represented by a public defender who did appear at his arraignment, and that's the lawyer you said that was doing the talking. Yeah, I mean, there are challenges. It's not an open and shut case. There are challenges the public defender's office or any lawyer, any attorney who's going to be representing Shannon in the future can make to the actual charges. And some of these challenges are going to come in the form of free speech. Were Shannon's comments directed at the president directly, or were they comments like saying, gee, I hope someone does something?
Well, about the public defender, because this is something that's important to people, because some people don't have money to pay
Yeah.
an attorney, right? So what kind of a disadvantage would he have?
Yeah, I mean, that's.
I mean, he had a big disadvantage because at the same time, I mean, being able to come out the pocket $15,000. So when I went there, I was like, oh, $1,500. Oh, we can fundraise that. Or, his but his family and friends can fundraise that.
Is that what the bail is?
Yeah, $1,500. Because I mean, generally, he was one of my clients and I worked for him before. So I was like, okay, I felt it because I've hung around this person. This person is just a real jolly, he does crude jokes, but that's the Shannon we all know. And it's either you have a thick skin or you're going to be soft and be like, oh, he picked on me. No, you just laugh along with it and go. But at the same time, we're not trying to pick sides at the same time. The jokes were harsh. It is the president, and it rubbed a lot of people wrong.
Yeah, well, the initial complaint to the FBI was made by a gentleman named...
Well, we're not doing that. We're not calling out names.
It's in the public record.
Let people find it themselves. Okay. We're not helping on that.
It's in the affidavit.
Yes, we're not doing that. I'm already nervous. I don't want no one's attacking me.
I'm reporting what's in the...
You don't need to report everything. Okay. If they're smart, if people are smart enough, they can report. They can go and find it themselves.
You can go to the court file and
find it yourself. Yeah,
all the information. The investigation.
We're not trying to get anyone else attacked.
I'm really curious to hear what he said.
Yeah,
I have a few of the quotes. Now, some of these can be pretty harsh, folks.
Yeah, so, they're harsh. They're mean.
Some of them are pretty harsh, but are they a direct threat against the president? You have to keep that in mind.
So let me touch on a few. I'm reading from the affidavit of the detective. On January 19th, respondent, which is Mr. Atkins, wrote on his Facebook profile, quote, "I've been banned from X because I said I hope and pray someone kills him. History is supposed to repeat itself. We haven't had an assassination in years."
Right.
And so he says, he unfortunately uses the word, "I hope someone kills him," but he doesn't say, "I'm going to kill him." And so is that a direct threat? Is it calling for people to go take some action? I don't know, but the statute seems to address a direct threat by someone to another, not you asking others to do something.
Yeah.
Here's one from social media. And it says, violent threats against President Trump. It says, allegedly wrote, "America needs one good bullet to be saved." Okay, so kind of scary. Right?
It is scary. Yeah. It is scary. It's hard.
There has been an assassination attempt when he was a candidate.
But how many presidents haven't been assassinated? People haven't done that.
Yeah.
And how many presidents people do not talk about? I don't know one president that wasn't judged and talked about and bullied and, but that's why you have Secret Service. Right. That's why they're paid the big bucks and they have security around them to protect them.
And another thing is not just one comment, right?
No, you pay the comment, but you pay the cost to be the boss
on different platforms.
He also wrote, "Bullets, please, please, Jesus, save America," which is another one of the emails that was referenced.
And like I said, it's crude. It sounds harsh, and this is why people are nervous about it. And it's like,
and then I quote the full email because I don't want to mention anyone's name.
Yeah, please do not.
Anyway, Atkins.
We never want to attack
Atkins responded to the accuser's Facebook. The accuser wrote on Shannon's Facebook page a response, and Atkins responded to him by concluding, saying, "You're an idiot. The bullets are coming."
Who said that?
Shannon.
Oh,
right.
To the person who reported this to the police or to the FBI.
But at the same time, from what I get at when I was at the court, he was just replying back to that guy just to be an ass.
Right.
When someone comes on your Facebook page, like I've been attacked. I'm not good with my words, so I never had even one time, one guy, he said to me, he came on my Facebook page. He said he wished it was 1966 or again, 1860 slavery was going on. And then everyone got on the page and just started getting on him and shut him down. That doesn't mean they're showing up at your house. That's just Facebook being able to freely be the person that got picked on for days, but you can use your words.
Well, that's, that kind of falls in line with what just President Trump just did in saying or Facebook just did. They're all saying now they're taking off the the
Restrictions.
restrictions now.
Yeah.
Now you can say anything. And so we get
That's
into
one of the reasons why Elon Musk bought X, right? So he can take off all the restrictions. So there is a line, though, between what you can say. There are children involved, right? There are children that watch these platforms, right? So
but children involved, I think there's an age limit on that. That has nothing to do with it. The parents need to be aware of their children being involved. It's rated R. It's whatever. You're not supposed to be on it regardless. So the parents should get in trouble for that. So we don't even think about it. Yeah.
I just think that it's a tough time in America. The country's very divided. Emotions are high on both sides. I think pretty much all of us, at least myself, I'm more of an independent. I listen to both sides, and I disagree with some things that either the president or any elected official does. I disagree with some things that my friends want to do, and they do the same with me. But we're all friends. We can disagree. We can agree to disagree, and be friendly with it. And I think what's happening these days is people are they're becoming so angry and so I don't know how to describe it. That people are apoplectic about what's going on now with the president. I'm just like, well, he's going to do what he's going to do.
My personal experience as well, being out on the streets live streaming, I've noticed that a lot of people have been vocal, whereas a few months ago you may have not heard a word.
Right.
So people are becoming very, very vocal, and being that vocal can result in violence.
Yeah.
Very easily.
Yeah.
And so
Because you can say one thing and then
people clashing like that.
Yeah, you can say one thing and then the other person is so offended and they want to come back and they're so embarrassed they want to come back and attack. But at the same time, if you're in person, you can physically harm someone. But if you're on the internet, it's like you're free to just say whatever you want. And that's what was going on.
And that's one of the problems in today's society. 20, 30 years ago, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have social media. We didn't have news 24 hours a day. And so people are in such quick and constant contact with each other. And someone says something about you or someone says something about something you don't like and you're going to respond. And it's just a tough time. And I really probably believe that Shannon's comments were not really directed to do any harm to President Trump or anyone else. They were born out of frustration with him getting elected, and Shannon just is not a big fan of Donald Trump, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes. It's definitely something where there are extremists on both sides.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and
again, they say, well,
I hate when people come up.
These people are pardoned.
It's always on both sides. I hate that. That phrase right there always tickle me. But go ahead.
But
go ahead.
No, I was just saying that you got to, in today's world, you got to be careful what you say because of, Shannon's case.
Yeah.
I'm sure he did not think when he was writing that post or any of those posts that he was going to do harm to President Trump, that he was threatening President Trump, but he was saying it out of frustration, and maybe he was saying it out of a joke. Maybe he was saying to piss people off on the other side of the aisle. But, I'm sure he wasn't thinking, gee, I'm going to get arrested for this. So, it's when you speed down the highway, you can be stopped and get a ticket for it. I don't think he was thinking, I'm going to say this and it's going to lead to my arrest.
Right.
No, he wouldn't have. Who's going to write something? Get off my button. I'm controlling that button. Who's gonna literally write down, I'm gonna do this? Those are dumb people who say I'm gonna go. He's not even saying that. He's just making comments and harsh. He's being harsh, and it was spur of the moment, but over time. Because at the same time, if you go to Shannon's page, it's always, he talks crap over time. As soon as he sees something else post, he go like, oh, let me reply to that post. If you follow him on his page.
Well, yeah, if it's over time, then there's a trend there. There's a trend of hate.
No, but there were, at the court, they said there were breaks between weeks where he didn't say nothing. Because he's working. Man's working. He's self-employed. And I'm not picking on Shannon's side or what, it seems like I'm on his side. It's just at the same time, I'm like worried about freedom of speech. I'm worried about what do I say or what can someone say and then get in trouble for,
Tim, tell us about the legal aspect now. What is the case that the public defender can build against? I guess on the other side, it's the government. Right?
Yes.
How does he fight the government on proving that this is free speech and not a direct threat against the president?
Well, I think one of the things they're going to look at is and the statute. I really didn't do a deep dive into any research on the actual statute, whether there's been any challenges to it. I don't think there have been, but what the defense is going to look at is the fact that the language of the statute seems to point to people making direct threats against someone else. So I can't go online and post things that say, I'm going to hurt you, or I'm going to kill you, I'm going to shoot you. And that's what the statute seemed to be directed towards. Whereas these posts by Shannon and probably many others recently, his posts seem to say, I hope someone does something. There were some assassinations in the past, and maybe we might need another bullet. You know what I'm saying? I'm not condoning the comments.
The comments, no. The words were
very smart. to do, especially in today's society. But
and he lives this close to the president.
yeah, right. We're just right across we call the river, right across the intercoastal waterway from Mar-a-Lago. What's going to happen is now they've posted bail. I think if he gets the money together, he'll be bailed out of jail, and then he'll have to go to. You have to see. I mean, a lot of his cases they've already got the posts. Everyone knows what he's posted. Everyone knows what he's being charged with.
So at the moment, I heard it through the grapevine that he did post bail, but at the same time now he's sick. So, and I'm not sure. I heard this a couple days ago, but it's like, where is he right now? Is he in the hospital? Because at the same time, I mean, he does have back problems. He's a big guy.
He's 6'7".
He's 6 foot. Yeah, he has back problems. He has all these car accidents before. The last thing I heard was he's in the hospital.
Okay.
So it's kind of sad that he goes into jail and now he's in the hospital. But I don't know if he's still there, but he's in the hospital.
You said something, you mentioned something or questioned something just a little bit ago, like what kind of a disadvantage is it with having a public defender as a private attorney?
Because money talks, right?
Yeah, and unfortunately, the public defenders and the state attorney's offices, these guys they do great work. They really do. But there is a lot of cases. And I know that when I worked in Miami, I worked for a private attorney named Roy Black. We handled a lot of high-end criminal defense, some famous people and some people with a lot of money. And you can mount a defense. You can do all these types of challenges to the statute. There's a lot of different things you can do. You can hire private detectives. You can have expert witnesses. Someone without means can't do that.
No,
you can't hire an expert. You can't hire like a free speech expert to come in and opine on certain things. And they don't have time to do massive motions challenging the statute itself or things of that nature. So
the most they had was a lot of letters. No, they had them write, his family and friends and all people that for his character write a lot of letters, and people wrote letters, but it's about so many letters and with no money.
Public defender, it's not a question of whether they have experience or whether they have the resources. They don't have the time to do all the cases.
Yeah, I think that's the difference between the public defender's office and a private criminal defense attorney is the the private attorney has time, they have more staff. Sometimes they have the ability to do a lot more research, a lot more challenges. I used to go when I worked down in Miami doing criminal defense, the state attorney used to bug me on a couple cases. I'd walk in and she'd say, how many trees did you kill this week? Sure. We would overburden her with large, complex motions, but there were high-end cases. There were some murder cases, things like that. So, but yeah, I definitely believe that someone with money has a much better ability at fighting the government.
Oh, for sure.
Someone without
they
me.
can miss things.
Yeah.
When you're not crossing all your T's, dotting all your I's.
Yeah.
I figure there's a budget, right? And there's a budget for how much they can fight for you.
To mount a real good criminal defense
and against the government.
They're
going against the government.
Who have
all the resources available, all the time in the world.
That's right.
Right. So has there been a case like this in your memory that has ever come up?
No, I haven't experienced any.
We may even see more because of the emergence of social media and people feeling that they can say anything they want.
And
the whistleblowers.
Well, that's the other thing. This case was not brought about by the FBI or the police or even anyone on President Trump's team seeing this post. It was raised by someone, as far as I know, is unknown to Shannon Atkins. They don't know each other. I think that's reported in the affidavit. It's just someone said, hey, I don't like what's being posted here, and so I'm going to report them to the FBI. And that's exactly what happened. And the FBI started an investigation and then I guess contacted the West Palm Beach Police Department and they ultimately arrested him.
And they may have disliked him anyways because he does drag shows. He's outspoken. It's all that mixture. He's a big black man.
Yeah.
It's the mixture of the fear, the mixture of the change, the mixture of everything. So I don't even understand why were they on his page if you don't like him? Why are you on his page?
That's going to have to come up. Well, I mean, of course, they'll.
If you don't like me, get off my page.
Well,
people are on the warpath.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe
let me have my space
is or what
to be me.
So.
Now, was the other charge a drug charge?
Yeah, there is another drug charge, possession of cocaine charge. I guess when they stopped him in his vehicle, I believe that's how they apprehended him. They stopped his car.
Yeah.
Once they arrested him, of course, he's subject to search, and which they did, and found
3 baggies.
A few baggies.
3.
Is that what they said?
Yeah, in the news, it came out 3.
So they found some cocaine in his pocket, which isn't good, and that's a separate charge, separate case.
But can there be an argument made for he wasn't of right mind when he said
good or bad,
or wrote these things because of the fact that he was under the influence of drugs?
Also, he has the pain that he has.
Well, maybe
because he's in pain all the time too.
That's always tough to prove because normally what you want to do is you want to get a blood test to see what's in your system. And most people either don't have the knowledge to ask, I want a blood test taken, or something like that. And so that could be evidence that was lost if in fact he was under the influence of some sort of
I guess proving
medication.
mental issues.
But then I would think, but every time I think about the mental issue, I'm like, then it'll be like, oh my goodness, maybe he, like it could go the wrong way too, saying that he's mental.
You just never know. There's just a lot of things to think about, and that goes back to what you talked about earlier with having the means to talk to experts and hire experts. In the criminal cases that I handled years ago, we had the means to go out and hire some of the best experts all around the country, and on different things. And that's an issue, and I don't know. I guess we'll have to just wait and see. But one of the things that I saw that struck me is that he actually spoke to the detective and said he admitted to making the posts, so he can't take. There's no defense in saying I didn't do it. Someone else did it on my page. They hacked my page. But he said he thought he just did it as a joke.
Yeah. I mean, when you're writing that stuff, stuff like that.
Touching that button. If you're going to touch the button, touch the right button.
Cute, and I want to see myself.
Okay, touch the right button here. There you go. There's not you. That's you right there.
Okay, so my thought is, you done made me lost my train of thought. What was the question again?
I didn't ask him.
No, what were we talking about?
Talking about his defenses and the mental state.
I forget it.
Okay.
Next.
In any event. So it's
mental state, I think, can be something that can be argued.
But it could be dangerous against them.
A hazy area. Yeah. Type on social media, what state are they in?
Yeah.
Biased in some way?
I don't know.
I think so. If you're angry on social media, yes.
Reaction to some medication that they're taking? Or we're talking about very illegal drugs here.
Yeah, it could be. So these are all things that have to be flushed out, and they'll be flushed out in the next several months, I guess.
So what was the result? Remember, there was a result for, because he had the court case on the...
Well, that's just a first appearance. That was his arraignment. They told him what the charges were, whether he pled guilty or not guilty. They set bail. Mm-hmm. And now they'll start.
So now he cannot do social media. He's banned from Facebook, I believe.
I think so.
Not by Facebook itself, but by the court.
Yeah, I think there was an injunction.
Do we have that? Oh, we don't have that.
This is the petition for an ex parte protection. This is saying that he's a danger to others. But I believe that I didn't look at the court order or if there's one entry.
The result,
on there. Wasn't on the court's website when I first looked, but. Yeah, I think he's now prevented from going on social media.
Yeah,
but been enjoying bail. Now, is he under house arrest?
No, he's in the hospital.
No, but I thought you said something about house arrest.
I mean, it's in the. I don't have all the paperwork. I know house arrest.
Because there's somebody that threatens the president, and they meant it. They shouldn't be out on bail.
No. That's why I
because so many people came in and spoke for him and said, like, listen, he's a comedian. This is what he does.
But also
it's a crude joke.
Again, I think,
or a crude comment.
But I think the fact that most of the posts or all of the posts are not specifically directed at the president. They're kind of that offhanded, kind of threatening, angry language. I think maybe that's the reason.
Not threatening, angry language.
Because I think if he said, I'm going to kill President Trump, I don't think he'd be out on bail right now.
No.
He's sitting in jail.
And then he apologized for even saying it. He was like shocked that he would even get in trouble for it. He was shocked.
Yeah. So it's a tough situation.
It's
when I look up, what is it?
Between commenting about it and committing the act. Yeah. And I think it has to be clearly defined as well, right?
I mean, just think
like where is the threat directed?
Yeah, let me look.
I'm trying to find where what he has to do. So he has to surrender. So because of all of this, so be aware, guys.
There are copycats out there.
Yeah.
There are people who listen to these things and then they're encouraged to do it. So was he inciting?
That means a lot of people need to be in jail on Facebook. Then a lot of people incite. If you're going to put him as inciting, there's a lot of people.
And he got turned in. So that means that he was talking about it with somebody.
Someone read his post.
Yeah,
no.
Someone read his post.
And called the FBI.
Yeah, called the FBI. So
yeah.
Turned him in.
Yeah.
So this
it's called a whistleblower. And sometimes you, just like what's going on right now, they get paid to turn people in.
So but the statute says it's unlawful for any person to send, post, or transmit. So in other words, it's not just sitting in a bar talking. And that could be something different, but it's sending, posting, or transmitting a direct threat against someone. So,
but was it a threat?
Well, I said that's going to be the question.
Is it a threat? Because he's not.
He doesn't say I'm going to do anything.
But when you say we're one bullet short of saving America, that's not direct.
No,
it's an indirect.
Right? They could say I'm shooting a tree.
It could be like, take me out. Like I'm, save the America. Like, no, not me.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, he like, I need a break.
Yeah.
Take me out one bullet just so I don't see this anymore. I'm not here. The bullet could be towards his
Right.
So
He could be saying, somebody shoot me.
yeah, shoot me, please.
Somebody
Yeah.
Put me out of my misery.
Yeah.
Somebody.
I can't take this anymore.
There are comedians out there who walk that line.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to be very careful about what you say.
Yeah, that's
Right.
in today's world. You got to be careful, especially about what you post online, because now it's all recoverable.
But who are usually the shooters, anyways? There's some people who really do the shooting. Do you ever?
If
Would
we
you
do-
see a big black comedian, drag queen doing the shoot? I've never seen that.
I don't know.
Who's really doing the shoot?
There are a lot of disturbed individuals that are undiagnosed out there.
Yeah.
That I can tell you. That I can tell you.
So
Because remember they said someone was on top of the roof that snipped President Trump's ears. Can y'all picture Big Mama on top of the roof?
no,
That's just
Wait, how did he?
way.
I mean,
Right.
how can you pick a Shannon Atkins? Can you
Boy.
picture Shannon Atkins crawling and climbing on top of the roof
no, I don't think he.
with a snipe?
I don't know
No,
if he'd
it's
be
just
able to get the ladder.
yeah.
No, he's he's always been a pretty, not an abrasive person, just a funny guy, a big guy.
I've met him as
outspoken.
well. I've met him as well. Very pleasant man, but
And
I don't
he-
know. I don't know his history. I don't know anything about him.
And every time you see him, there's always someone coming up in his mid to his stomach hugging him. It's always a short person coming up hugging him. He's tall as heck, and they're like, "Hey," and they hug him, and they're all in it like, we're so short in his stomach.
Well, anyway, so
But let me go back to what? Get off my button. Thank you, appreciate it.
Loves her button.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
You're not gonna. I'm gonna press all the buttons. Okay, so the court document shows Atkins agreed to surrender his passport, have no contact with President Trump, his family, or President Trump's family, or Mar-a-Lago. No social media use on any platform whatsoever. No weapons or firearms. No possession or consumption of illegal substance with random testing at Atkins' expense. Oh, at his expense. Oh my goodness.
It's $100 cut.
Yeah, that $100 adds up, especially when now you can't really work and you're on wearing an electronic monitor. In the court, they try to take away all his devices too.
Gotcha.
Everyone was like, "What?" But because he's self-employed.
Gotcha.
Now, I'd like to read something from something that he said that maybe we didn't mention here in the statute, but it was from social media. And it says here that he wrote on Facebook on January 19th, the day before Trump was inaugurated for his second term, "America needs one good bullet to be saved." Atkins also mentioned on his Facebook page that he had been banned from Elon Musk's X. "I've been banned from X because I said I hope and pray someone kills him. History is supposed to repeat itself. We haven't had an assassination
But
in
did
years."
he say the name?
Right.
Him who?
"We haven't had an assassination in years." Although that sounds like a lot, apparently that wasn't all. So he definitely is targeting on several platforms, and he's speaking his mind. He's not holding back.
No, it's
But that's everyone, and this is why the country is so divided. Everyone wants to have their time.
They're not only calling them threats against the president, they're calling them violent threats,
Right.
which means that they can charge him for violent threats as opposed to...
And they need to make a point to make sure no one else says anything else. Just like you go to Thailand and stuff, you can't say anything about the king.
Yep.
There's certain countries you're not allowed to talk about that one individual. And maybe that's where the direction America is going. So you're not allowed to talk about the president at all if you're not saying something nice.
march into Red Square and start saying stuff about Mr. Putin and see what happens to you.
Yeah, you can't
Xi
say anything.
Jinping in China, but in any event,
Let's say he's the same person and he's smart enough to draw the line where he needs to draw the line. But there could be people that he encouraged that don't have that line.
correct.
Mhm.
That will cross that line.
And that's one of the problems. And that's one of the concerns with law enforcement these days is that
When someone
online speech, when you incite people or ask people, or you kind of encourage people to go out and do something, and then they go out and do it. I think there was a shooting last year, a couple of years ago, at an FBI office. Remember, because someone kind of incited that. So that's one of the concerns, and I think that's one of the concerns of the rights of the statute. But still, again, this statute doesn't say that you're inciting people to do it. It says you're making a direct threat.
The question is, what's inciting, though? What's another thing? What's the definition of inciting? Because if we're doing that, a lot of people should be in jail. If we're going to focus on who's inciting what.
Listen, the allegations against President Trump for January 6th was that he incited the crowd to march to the Capitol and fight. And so that's kind of an incitement to you. You're encouraging people, go do it.
Right.
Go act in my behalf. Go do what you got to do. So,
Right.
but those,
He didn't specifically say anything, but they did go after the vice president.
so and I think that's what some of these statutes are trying to do. Well, there are.
No, but who But they did say go Mike Pence. They did say that.
Yeah.
Who started that?
Well, Trump, when he said that Mike
Saying
Pence
didn't do his job.
he didn't do his job, and if he doesn't do his job, we got to go up there and fight and then do the job for him, basically. I don't remember.
And he
the
has
exact
to
word.
stop the electoral vote count.
Right.
That's how they came up with
He was
Kill
in
Mike.
charge of verifying the
Yeah.
electoral vote count.
So anyway, there's also, I don't know it off the top of my head, but there's also a federal statute about doing harm to the president. And so there may be other charges coming by the federal government. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
Which could make it more problematic. And I haven't read that statute, so I don't know. All right.
Well, Facebook world, if you're saying something bad about someone, just be careful. Someone may turn you in.
Yeah.
They might say, it might now become civil where it's just us against each other.
Don't say it at all.
Yeah.
Don't say it. Keep it to yourself.
Post pictures.
Every time you say something, whether it's live, whether it's a recording, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on any social media platform, it's immortalized. Okay.
Right.
So you're going to live with that no matter what. It's never going to be erased. So you be very careful with what you say. You have to learn to be careful.
With all of my clients.
There's no freedom of speech anymore.
No, with all of my clients, even the business clients that I represent, I always tell them, when you write an email, if you don't want a jury to see it, don't write it. Because emails and social media posts, they're used constantly now in cases because people say things and they're not thinking that it will ever come back to haunt them, and they do.
At the same time, I think that these laws should be revised so they're very specific in the future. So people know what is the line between freedom of speech and a threat.
So now we're going to change. What amendment is the freedom of speech? So now we're gonna
Well, no, that's
change.
amendment, but there's
So we're changing
we're
the
not
freedom of.
changing.
Yeah, I'm like, so but that's why the freedom of
two-thirds of-
speech is there. You're
Right.
not.
We have
you,
freedom of press, freedom of speech. Again,
but you can't do threatening speech.
Yeah,
That's the difference. You can't.
but he was not doing threatening.
Well, that's kind of threatening.
It's on the line.
It is on the line. And when you say bullets are flying and we only need one good bullet, and
Right.
everyone knows.
Well, who else have? But how many
You-
in the politician world? They all talk like that. Though they're so mean.
Yeah, I do.
This was an implication. He's implying.
Right.
He's implying
Right.
that this should happen. So any person who's of somewhat intelligence can figure it out what
Right.
he's intending to say.
I mean, it's almost like the civil claim of defamations. Defamation where you say something bad about someone, or there's defamation by implication where you say something bad about someone, but in a roundabout way, so you don't mention the person's name, but everyone knows who you're talking about.
This is a far cry. from
And
saying
that's-
this person's an idiot, or this person, I hate his policies,
Right.
whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
It's a foot in his mouth, whatever. This is very different. This is about saying somebody out there,
needs to.
if you're listening, somebody.
No, I'm not gonna. You're not gonna do that. No, I don't believe that.
Well, that's exactly what he's saying.
But that's how everyone else is going on. Just like when the guy attacked me and said he wished it was 19, whatever, back when I was put me back as a slave. What am I supposed to do? Is that attack? Is he gonna force me back into slavery?
No,
What?
you can't do that.
Okay. So Shannon said he said what he said, and I'm not picking up for him because it was harsh. It was mean. You shouldn't say stuff like
No.
that. It's more like bullying, and it's just mean. But for the rights and freedom of speech part, that's the part that that bothers me. Is like, okay, you got to really watch your words now,
do.
because now where does the line of freedom of speech?
That's what these types of statutes implicate.
And I thought to me it was used wrong against him. That's my thought. It shouldn't have used. It wasn't supposed to be so harshly against his freedom of speech when he did not say, you go out and do this,
Right.
dude.
And
And he's not a politician either. He's a comedian.
That's why it warrants debate.
Yeah.
Who is saying these comments?
Right.
What is their history? What is their character? Who is saying these comments? And I'm really curious to find out what the public defender is going to come up with as an argument against the government.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is pretty strong.
Which
All right. Well, anyway, this is our first live broadcast by Legal Shit, where we talk about all things legal and we talk about shit. But anyway,
about all your legal shit. So if you need to talk about if you have a good case or something that's going on that you need us to talk about, we do have a lawyer on staff. And then you have us, local people, Teddy and Antoinette, and we just, figure it out a little bit for you. And if you need to ask some questions, if you need to go over your case, let's talk about your shit. Because there's a lot of shit out there that we need to discuss.
Yeah, if I can make a quick plug too for the Elisa Jordana fans out there.
Yeah, I know you guys a lot of shit.
Tuned in. Thank you very much for tuning in as well. We're going to make mistakes. We're just starting out, so please bear with us as we navigate through all of this. And I will post on our Discord server as well his YouTube channel so that hopefully we can get some subscribers and build the channel a little bit as we go through this case and maybe others.
Yeah.
Great.
And just a plug out there for all the local businesses. If you'd like to advertise, if any little thing like that, we would love to start doing some raffles. So at the same time, you can raffle off different items on the page because we are local. We're downtown West Palm Beach. I'm located inside of Timothy Schulz law firm. Okay.
Thanks very much, and have a good day.
All right. Peace.
Bye.
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 How do I stop this now?